I turned 24 that day. Nothing big. No party. No guests. Just a small dinner at home with family and a chocolate cake I bought for myself on the way back from work. I placed it gently in the fridge with a quiet kind of happiness. It wasn't about the cake. It was about the feeling of doing something kind for myself. After dinner, I went to bring it out. The fridge shelf was empty. I stared at it for a few seconds, confused. Maybe I put it somewhere else. Maybe Mom moved it. Then I saw the trash can. The box was inside. Open. Smeared. Ruined. Hey, if you enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit the bell. Your support means everything and helps me keep creating. Thank you so much. I slowly pulled it out. The frosting crushed. The cake upside down. Chocolate sticking to the plastic lid. My sister was sitting at the table scrolling on her phone, like nothing happened. Where's my cake? I asked quietly. She didn't even look up. I threw it. I thought I misheard. You what? She shrugged. I don't like chocolate. The smell was annoying. The room went silent. My mom said softly, she didn't mean it like that. I looked at my sister. You threw my birthday cake in the trash because you don't like chocolate? She rolled her eyes. Why are you being dramatic? It's just cake. Just cake. That sentence hit harder than the action. Because it wasn't about dessert. It was about how easily something that mattered to me could be destroyed simply because it didn't matter to her. I didn't shout. I didn't argue. I quietly put the ruined cake back in the box and threw it away properly. Then I went to my room. I sat on the bed for a long time, staring at the wall. And for the first time, I understood something very clearly. This wasn't a one-time thing. This was a pattern. The way she interrupted me when I spoke. The way my things went missing. The way my preferences were mocked. The way my feelings were always labeled as overreacting. I had been shrinking myself for years to avoid conflict, laughing off disrespect, ignoring small humiliations, telling myself it's not a big deal. But tonight, standing over a crushed cake, I realized it was a big deal. Not because of what she did, but because of what I kept allowing. The next morning, I woke up early. I didn't say anything to anyone. I didn't bring it up again. Instead, I started making quiet changes. I removed my name from shared expenses. I stopped doing favors. I stopped picking up things for her when I went out. I stopped engaging in conversations that ended with her mocking me. No announcement. No fight. No explanation. Just distance. At first, no one noticed. Then, slowly they did. My sister asked, "Why didn't you bring me coffee?" I said calmly, "I didn't feel like it." She looked confused. This had never happened before. A few days later, she asked me to help her with something. "I'm busy," I replied. I wasn't. But for the first time, I didn't feel obligated. She started getting irritated. "What's wrong with you these days?" I smiled slightly. Nothing. Because nothing was wrong. Something was finally right. The shift didn't happen loudly. It happened in silence. I stopped reacting, stopped explaining, stopped participating in the small routines that had quietly made her life easier for years. No more picking up her parcels. No more covering her chores when she felt too tired. No more listening to her long complaints while she dismissed mine in seconds. At first, she thought I was in a mood. Then, she thought I was trying to prove a point. Then she got irritated. "Why are you acting weird?" she snapped one evening. "I'm not," I replied calmly. "I'm just busy with my own things." That sentence confused her more than any argument would have. Because for the first time, my attention wasn't available to her on demand. My parents noticed too. Mom asked quietly, "Did something happen between you two?" I shook my head. "No, I'm just focusing on myself." Which was true. I started spending more time outside, reading, working late, meeting friends, taking care of things I had ignored for years. And the strange thing was, the house felt lighter. Without constant micro-disrespect, my mind felt clearer. Meanwhile, my sister grew restless. She started doing small things to provoke a reaction. Sarcastic comments, loud remarks, trying to pull me into arguments. I didn't bite. One evening she said loudly, "Some people think they're very important these days." I kept scrolling on my phone. No response. That bothered her more than if I had argued back, because she was used to my emotional participation, my explanations, my frustration. Now she was talking to a wall of calm. A week later, she asked me for a favor. Can you drop me somewhere tomorrow? I can't, I said. You don't even know where. I still can't. She stared at me, trying to figure out what changed. What she didn't understand was this. I had stopped rewarding disrespect with access. The birthday cake wasn't the issue. It was the moment I saw the pattern clearly. And once you see a pattern, you can't unsee it. Slowly, the dynamic started shifting. She began doing her own chores, handling her own problems, managing things she used to casually dump on me, not because she wanted to, because she had no choice. My parents started noticing it too. Mom said one day, "She's been very quiet lately." I nodded. Maybe she's learning. Mom didn't ask what that meant. She didn't need to. Then came the moment that changed everything. We were having dinner when my sister said, "Can you pass me the water?" I looked at the bottle in front of her. "It's right there," I said gently. She paused. For years, I would have passed it without thinking. This time, I didn't. That tiny moment made her realize something uncomfortable. I was no longer functioning as her silent support system. After dinner, she followed me to my room. "Are you still upset about that stupid cake?" she asked. I looked at her calmly. "It was never about the cake." "Then what?" "It was about realizing how you treat me." She opened her mouth to argue, then stopped, because for the first time, I wasn't accusing. I wasn't emotional. I was stating a fact. And facts are harder to fight than feelings. She left the room without saying anything. That night, I knew she understood. Not fully, not emotionally, but logically. She realized that something had changed in a way she couldn't reverse with sarcasm or excuses. And that quiet change unsettled her more than any argument ever could. A few days later, she knocked on my door. No attitude, no sarcasm. "I'm sorry," she said quietly, "about the cake." I looked at her for a moment. "It wasn't the cake." She nodded. "I know. I just didn't realize how I've been treating you." That was the first honest thing she had said in years. "I'm not angry," I replied. "I just stopped allowing it." She understood what that meant. From that day, small things changed. She spoke with more care, asked instead of assumed, handled her own responsibilities without expecting me to step in. Not because I demanded it, because she finally felt the absence of what I used to give freely. She thought throwing the cake away was nothing. She didn't realize it would be the moment I stopped being available for disrespect and started being respected without saying a word.